Welcome to the 2018 Wind Voyager Triple-S Invitational pre-show. I am Trip Forman.
I'm Jason Slezak.
And we are here to entertain you and give you the inside scoop on what's going on with this year's event. Sleazy, the 13th annual Wind Voyager Triple-S Invitational. Can you believe where this event has come from and where it's gone in 13 years?
First of all, I can't even believe that we've made it 13 years and are still alive. But it's great that, you know, the event came from a fairly humble beginning in the backyard here at Rio before the large facility shop and Waterman's Retreat was even here. And now we have a bigger, better lineup, you know, both on the water, off the water, people coming in, and it's, you know, grows and gets bigger and better every year.
It's just insane where this event came from. I mean, we're talking about the most grassy of grassroots event, you know, just a handful of riders picked from around the world coming to Cape Hatteras and starting this thing off in 2006, and look where it's come. It's just unbelievable. So hats off to everyone that was there in the beginning. Let's dig into what's going on now. I mean, we got to say the build up to this year's event is, there hasn't been anything like it. Riders started showing up here as early as March.
I mean, it's outstanding. Like, you know, every year we have riders coming in a few days early sometimes. Sometimes riders are showing up the night before. And like you said, we had riders here in March that have been riding all through March, April, now into May. And the conditions have just been, you know, classic Hatteras springtime kiteboarding, where almost every day has been just windy, warm, and allowing, you know, all the riders to get on the water and really get as much time and get comfortable with the, you know, the features and the conditions, and really just out there riding with each other the whole time.
You know, this ramp of excitement, you know, the adrenaline push, you know, it normally starts like the middle of May. Like in March, it just started coming on. It's been building the whole time.
I think that, you know, the event being in its 13th year, it's something that all of these riders and participants in the event look forward to all through the year. So they do other contests and they do obligations for their sponsors and for different events around the world, but most of them really focus all year long on, you know, coming to Cape Hatteras, being here at Rio Water Sports, and being here for the Wind Voyager Triple-S Invitational. And this has really been that sort of, you know, kind of grand finale each year of them just training and really trying to progress through the year to really show what they've got here for both the men and the women, put it on the line, and, you know, try to reach that final podium spot.
I mean, we know this is going to be the best one yet. Like, somehow, I'm not really sure. It gets better every year, but this one, even before it starts, it's going down in the books as the best build-up. Just all that time on the water. I mean, the riders are so pumped about getting this event up and running.
You know, I came back a few weeks ago to great conditions, and we would get groups of people together to do downwinders, and we'd go through the slick, and it would be jam-packed with riders, all the features set up. And, you know, personally, I think I was able to witness riding going down, you know, in the sort of warm-up days or build up to the event. That was really kind of podium-worthy and finals-worthy riding. Just coming on like a casual Wednesday afternoon, you know, where like in the past riders would save their kind of banger tricks for the finals, and now they're just throwing them, even just preparing for the event. And I think that shows that field's really pushing to get those top spots. And again, it's both the men and the women that are really impressive already with what we're seeing, and the competition hasn't even begun yet.
Yeah, let's talk about, you know, last year's top three in men and women. And you know what we're looking at. You know, looking at the men first. You know, last year Ewan won the event, and you know, it was Ewan's first year, you know, winning the event. And what we've seen historically is, you know, once somebody gets on that podium, especially in the sliders, once they get on the podium, they tend to stay there. You know, they understand winning, right? They understand, okay, this is how, you know, the riding level's all there to win, but like putting the whole package together for the entire event and winning the event, that's something that you need to learn. And Ewan did that last year, you know, so if history repeats itself, like Andre Philippe did it several years, Brandon Scheid did it several years, Sam Light did it several years, and now Ewan's on the podium. So I think that's a lot of people's pick, you know, for this year is to continue that. I mean, who else do you see that's out there?
Well, you know, the kind of the top riders, you know, you look at last year's winners, they've all been up there in that top spot. Ewan was plagued with injuries in the past, where it kept him, back a little bit, just because he couldn't really be here, I think, for a year, and then he came back, and like you said, they once they get to that point of taking that top first place podium spot, they relax a little bit. I think there's a little bit of that sort of formula of understanding the competition format, the simple part of reading and understanding the instructions, and seeing how they can progress through the different heats and the different rounds to make it to that finals and ultimately make it to that podium spot. And then once they do get there, it seems like each rider has that ability to sort of take a breath, slow down a little bit, and they're always constantly progressing, but there's not as much pressure. It's almost like you could see it with Brandon when he's taken that podium spot before, or Sam Light, or like you mentioned, Andre in the past, or Aaron Hadlow. They all sort of relax a little bit. And the biggest thing I've noticed, like traveling around with Brandon Scheid, because we're both teammates on Liquid Force, is he's been having so much fun. And for him and a lot of the riders, if they have fun with it, you see it in their riding, you see it in the tricks they're throwing, and it's not so much pressure, but just more them expressing themselves and going huge, pushing the amount of rotations or the technicality of the different presses and rail kind of combinations. And each one of those sort of top 3 podium spots sort of has that relaxed kind of ease about their riding. And you're seeing it already, which I know will just transfer into smoother, better, bigger riding during the event. I mean,
when you see Brandon smiling, when you see teeth, and you see him laughing, and you almost hear him like cackling, like across the slick, like he's like shifted like into the next gear. It's on.
A few nights ago, Brandon said he believes he went as big as he possibly could off the super kicker. Normally that would relate in people's like knees not working or their back being sore, and all he wanted to do was get out and ride the next day. So I think that goes to show that they're really having fun with it, and they're really ready to show all of us and show the world what they have to offer.
So talking about the other podium male rider, Sam Light, he has 4 Triple-S crowns under his belt. Like, he understands the process of winning in this event, and his ability and his riding level is still there. I mean, he's still in the hunt for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, between Sam, Ewan, and Brandon, those are the top 3 from last year, and we know that they're ready to push for those top spots again. But it's also very obvious that there's a lot of other riders that are either younger or are coming in with more drive and more determination to also make it onto the podium. And really the same goes for the women. That field has been getting more and more competitive. We've been able to expand the field of riders to offer more spots for the women in the event, which is just showing sort of the maturity of that women's side of the sport, and their ability to be at that competition level to bring it up to the Wind Voyager Triple-S Invitational. I'm really excited to see what they have to bring to the table this year as well.
I mean, a few years ago when we put in place, the top portion of the field advanced into next year's event, and then the bottom portion had to re-qualify into the event, that really drew a line in the sand with both the men and the women, as far as everybody saying like, hey, I need to step up if I want to get into next year's event, I got to step up my riding. So even if I'm in 16th place or 12th place, like, I got to jump a couple spots to make it into next year's event. It gave the men a big boost as far as like the competition level, but I think even more so in the women's riding, because in this last couple of years that they've really stepped it up. And you're right. I mean, we've added 2 additional riders into the women's field. It used to be 8, now it's 10. We have 3 to 4 consistent podium riders in that field, and with some younger riders again knocking on that door as well. So I mean, the women who podiumed last year, Colleen, Anna Luce, and Carolina, they're back in the event this year. They're all looking good on the water, all of them riding really well. Carolina has won the event. Obviously Colleen, of those 3, Colleen's won the event the most. Carolina 2 years ago won the event, so she understands the recipe to get up on the top spot. And Anna Luce she's the mover. In those 3, in the women, she's been the one who's been consistently climbing through the ranks.
Yeah, I think we'll see some really exciting riding from those three, as well as, again, the expanded field and more women that are really trying to chase those top 3 spots. What else are you excited about for the Triple S?
You cannot come to a Wind Voyager Triple-S and only participate in the daytime activities. The nightlife at the Triple-S is legendary, and you know, because it has to be stepped up every year, Wind Voyager and the Wind Voyager Triple-S has stepped up the nightlife again this year. 7 parties, 7 bands, that's always been the theme since the beginning. But this year it's gone to a whole, are we allowed to say a whole nother level?
I think it's like a whole nother category.
This is another dimension of nightlife. So just a quick roll off of the talent that we have showing up for this year's Wind Voyager Triple-S. We have the Red Bull opening ceremony party on Saturday, June 2nd. That's going to be the legendary DJ Dice, who is Redman's official DJ. So we had Redman and Method Man last year, and DJ Dice was behind those guys creating all the music for that show. Sunday we have DJ No Filter. Monday, Kaimani Marley, Bob Marley's son. Marley Monday at the Triple-S Invitational. Tuesday, ZACK Mexico, which is a local band, like a local indie punk rock band here from the Outer Banks. Wednesday, 2 Chainz.
2 Chainz.
We're just going to throw that in the middle of the week. Just a little 2 Chainz party, just perhaps. Thursday, we have the Sunset Swim charity fashion show.
Raising money for a great cause.
Yep.
and always bringing in a good crowd. That's a good one to attend.
Yep, so that, we have COYOTE Lee coming in to play that show with some live music backing on the fashion show. And on Friday...
What happens on Friday?
Well, Friday is the awards party. And on Friday, June 8th, we have the dub plates opening up for the legendary Roots crew. Driving here from Philadelphia, coming for the Wind Voyager Triple-S awards party. It is going to be a big night.
What's good, y'all? This is Questlove of the legendary Roots crew, and we hope you join us at the Wind Voyager Triple-S at Real Water Sports in Cape Hatteras in North Carolina, Friday, June 8th. Hope to see you there.
We're excited about this week. It's a big week coming. Looks like the forecast is looking good. So we want to thank everyone for tuning in. Wind Voyager Triple-S Invitational pre-show. Thanks for tuning in. Follow the status bar. We'll talk to you soon.